guys, today we are going to discuss the controversial Kashmir issue. So we'll start with the constitution and the historical perspective of this issue as to understand what is this issue all about and have a deeper understanding of the background of this issue. And then we'll come on to the controversial act which was passed by the parliament last year and what are its implications on Kashmir as well as on India. So you won't believe that in the 14th century, Kashmir, which is right now a predominantly Muslim state, was a hub for Hinduism and Buddhism. After that, a lot of dynasties ruled Kashmir. For example, the Mughals came after that, then the Afghans came, that was ruled by a Sikh dynasty, and then Britishers took control eventually. So it was ruled by various dynasties over a period of time. In 1846, when Sikh dynasty was ruling Kashmir, there was this first Anglo-Sikh war fought between the Britishers and the Sikh dynasty. Britishers won in that war and took control of that entire area. However, there was this Hindu dynasty in Kashmir at that point in time called the Dogra dynasty. Dogra dynasty's Raja called Maharaja Gulab Singh wanted to take over that area. So he signed a treaty of Amritsar with the Britishers and paid a sum of 75 lakh rupees to take control of that area. Now, even after paying such an amount, the entire control did not pass on to him. However, he was given certain autonomy to administrate over that particular area. Now, in 1947, after our independence, all the states, all the princely states in India were given an opportunity to either choose Pakistan or India at the time of partition. However, Maharaja Hari Singh, who was the king of the Dogra dynasty at that time and basically of Kashmir, did not want to choose either Pakistan or India. And he proposed a standstill agreement between India and Pakistan. So Pakistan agreed to that proposal. Pakistan agreed to Maharaja Hari Singh not choose any of these countries. However, India was not very sure about it, and India advised him to send his representatives to Delhi so that they can discuss this issue in detail. Now, another important thing to understand here is the people of Kashmir, it is believed that they wanted to stay with India because they were tired of the monarchical and authoritarian rule of the Britishers along with the Dogra dynasty, and they wanted democratic principles to rule them. So they wanted their control in the Indian authorities. Now, India suggested that there should be a plebiscite so that we can know as to what people want. Now, what a plebiscite is when you ask people in a particular area to vote as to where they want to go or where they want to stay. So a plebiscite was proposed. However, it could not happen because before it could happen, Pakistan attacked Kashmir. And when Pakistan attacked Kashmir, the only option left with Maharaja Hari Singh was to reach the Indian authorities for help. So Indian authorities agreed to help, but in return, he had to sign an instrument of accession on 26 October 1947, which said that after India is done with the war with Pakistan in helping liberate Kashmir, the Kashmir, which is in hands of Maharaja Hari Singh, will fall into the Indian territory and will form a part of the Union of India. Maharaja Hari Singh agreed to it. India went on to war with Pakistan and fought the first Indo-Pak war in 1947-48. India won in that war. However, since Pakistan had intruded in Kashmir earlier, it came before India, it captured a large part of Kashmir at that point in time. Almost 1/3 of Kashmir was captured by Pakistan in that time, and that part nowadays in India called Pakistan Occupied Kashmir or POK. In Pakistan it is called Azad Kashmir. So all this was done and Maharaja Hari Singh was reinstalled as the monarch or basically the king of that area. But there was this really significant political party called the National Conference at that point in time in Kashmir, and its leader was Sheikh Abdullah. Sheikh Abdullah wanted to overthrow the monarch and wanted to rule Kashmir. Basically, he wanted to be the Prime Minister of Kashmir. So his party started a movement against the monarch and they were successful enough to throw him out of the monarchical regime, and Sheikh Abdullah himself became the Prime Minister. Now, after 2 years of the First Indo-Pak War in 1949, in October 1949, Article 370 was inserted in the Constitution, giving certain special powers to the state of Kashmir. Other than special powers, it was a temporary provision. So it was mentioned in Article 370 that Article 370 can only be dissolved by the Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir. So Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir was made so that a constitution for Jammu and Kashmir can be made. So Jammu and Kashmir had a separate flag, it had a separate prime minister and president, it had a separate constitution. Article 370 also stated that all the laws which are passed by the parliament will not apply to the state of Kashmir unless they are allowed by the state assembly of Jammu and Kashmir. So it had certain special privileges in that aspect. Now in 1952, Delhi Agreement was signed between Jawaharlal Nehru and Sheikh Abdullah, allowing certain special powers or basically certain special privileges to the state of Kashmir. In pursuance of this, in 1954, a presidential order was issued called the Constitution Application to Jammu and Kashmir Order 1954. Now, what this order did is this order included the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir or the people of Jammu and Kashmir within the ambit of fundamental rights under Part 3 of our Indian Constitution, but with certain modifications. So, it stated a concept called permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir, and only those permanent residents were allowed to acquire some sort of property or buy any sort of property in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and they were given privilege in state services and state scholarships, state educational institutions, and so on. And who were these permanent residents? So these were those people who on 14th May 1954 were state subjects and had stayed in the state of Jammu and Kashmir for a period of 10 years or had acquired some sort of property in that state. These were permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir. Now in 1957, on 15th August, the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir was enforced, and after that the Constituent Assembly was dissolved. However, all through this while, all through the 20th century after our independence and even in the 21st century, we had a lot of conflict with respect to the area of Kashmir with Pakistan as well as some conflict with China as well, which is not important from this issue's perspective, but we had a lot of conflict with Pakistan. So in 1990, Special Armed Forces was enforced in Jammu and Kashmir. So basically, it allowed the armed forces to take control of the entire law and order situation. Now, what happened in 2019 is when the BJP NDA government came for its second innings, it had already held in its manifesto that Article 35A and Article 370 will be done away with because a lot of state governments felt that this is an undue privilege that is given to only one state in India, and if such kind of privilege is given, that Kashmir does not properly integrate with the Union of India. Although Article 3 of the Constitution of Kashmir states that Kashmir is an integral part of the Union of India, but in practice, it had all its laws and the parliamentary laws did not apply to it. So there was a problem for a lot of states. So after coming to power in 2019, the government passed an order called the Constitution Application to Jammu and Kashmir Order 2019. Now this order had two really important things to mention. So it diluted Article 35A. Basically, it scrapped Article 35A. Article 35A अब रहा ही नहीं. So जो भी special privileges थे to the people of Jammu and Kashmir and all of that is gone now. It also substituted the word Constituent Assembly in Article 370 with Legislative Assembly. So Constituent Assembly जो पहले dissolve हो गई थी जिस वजह से Article 370 को हटाया नहीं जा रहा था, उस Constituent Assembly को Legislative Assembly कर दिया ताकि सिर्फ Legislative Assembly की permission लेके उसको हटाया जा सके. In pursuance of this, in August 2019, the Parliament came up with an act called the Jammu-Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019. Now, this act divided the state of Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories. Now, Jammu and Kashmir is not a state. There are two union territories. First one is the Union Territory of Ladakh, which covers the districts of Leh and Kargil, and all the other district is covered by the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So now in India we have 9 union territories and 28 states after this reorganization act. Now this act took away all the privileges which Article 370 had given to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So Jammu and Kashmir had their own citizenship, they made their own laws, and this state was turned into two union territories so that the union government, the central government can have a better control of the entire state and the affairs of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So it was mentioned that the state of Ladakh will be under direct control of the central government, whereas the legislative assembly of state of Jammu and Kashmir will be made. So वैसे ही Jammu and Kashmir की भी एक legislative assembly बनेगी. So और उसमें कुछ seats होंगी और कुछ seats पाकिस्तान occupied Kashmir के लिए भी vacant रखी जाएगी because India considers that part as our own and which was taken by Pakistan and it was unauthorized to do so. So Pakistan ने illegally उस time ले लिया था and we consider that as our own part. Okay. Now this act created a lot of controversy all over the country because various lawyers and there were certain NGOs and certain other organizations which felt that this is unconstitutional and this is not within the right of the government to do so. So government can only pass such an act by amending the constitution. Okay, so government did not do so. However, government passed an act which many parties and many people around the country claimed as unconstitutional. So various organizations naturally went to the Supreme Court. They filed various petitions which is yet to be decided by the Supreme Court. So this is all about the controversial Kashmir issue. I hope you understood the basics of it. To understand it in more detail, there are some really important links that I've attached in the description. I've also attached some very important questions from the examination point of view at the end of this lecture. So if you like our sessions, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss any updates from us. Also keep writing your comments and feedback in the comment box so that we can have a better understanding and we can clear all your doubts. Thank you.